Hi everyone, we are on to part 5 of our page of Halloween Tinies by Agotapop from the Colouring Heaven Halloween Special magazine, and we're using Polychromos pencils. We're going to be doing this one. It's quite a lot going on in this picture. I think it's going to be quite a long video, but that is okay. I have got nobody here. I'm home alone. I've got nothing else to do but spend it with you doing some colouring, so that's fun. So I'm having a little look. Now, our spell book has got these little lines around it. I think I'll do the edge of the pages first. Now, I tend to like to make a spell book, or any book really, look like it's got gold pages. I think that's always nice, gold on the edge. So I've got my green gold, and I'm going to start with that one. I'm going to put a little bit here, or quite a lot actually, and along here, like that, and on the bottom, going back and forth a little bit. It's got a fair bit on, and then I'm going to just do a lighter layer here and here. So I've got a little bit less, excuse me, and a bit less again. I'm going to get another colour. I'm really warm. I don't know if I'm having a hot flash or if it's just warm. This is dark Naples ochre. I'm going to go over what I've done with this and then just extend the colour down into the middle a little bit. I'm not doing a proper sort of gold, but just a little bit more, because it might, I don't know if it would be real gold. If you were a witch, you could cast this magic spell, make your book look however you liked. But I'm just going to fade it, leave a few bits of white here and there so it looks a bit more shiny. That's a bit too much, I think. I'm just going to fill in a few bits. There we go. And there's our book. Done, all finished. No. Right, let's have a look at the cover. I am thinking, I'm looking at the other items in the picture actually as well. Looking, crystal ball, I've got a few ideas for that. Bottles, we've got green plants, we've got crystals. So I think I'm going to go quite dark on the parts of the cover of the spell book. I actually thought the caput mortuum violet might be quite good, because I'm thinking about how, if you think about old books, they usually, I'm thinking like Reader's Digest or things like that, they're usually quite dark colours, really dark green or a dark brown or a dark deep red, dark blue, and they look very smart. So I thought we'd do that with our caput mortuum violet. So I'm going to fill in all these little areas here, not too hard, because this isn't going to be the only layer of colour, but I want to just put down a base colour to start with. I'll start making sense soon. I've just been outside, I think that's why I'm hot. It's really sunny, and I had to get the bins in, so exciting. Well, actually my neighbour is away, so she asked me to pop her bins back in her garage. She's one of the only people that have got a proper garage in our area. Most people have converted them. Ours is now our kitchen, or part of the kitchen. We've got a little bit of garage, but there's too much junk in it to fit the bins in, which is a shame in a way. It'd be nice to hide them, and where they are have some plants or something. But on the other hand, I probably would find it a bit of a nuisance putting my rubbish out if I had to open the garage every time. But anyway. She's away, so she said I've got a key to her garage. I popped her bins away, put everyone else's away while I was at it. Now if we look at the book down here, look at this, it's rounded here, can you see that? Which means that this bit would also be rounded, so we need to try and put that into our colouring. So it sounds hard, it isn't. Well, the way I do it isn't. So if we make this bottom a bit darker, just by layering up our same colour, I haven't changed colour, and do that all the way along, so this bottom layer is a bit darker. Sorry about the shadows from my hand. it's because it's sunny, I've had to shut the blind. I've got my lamp on, but it seems dark in here. It's really weird. And then the same at the top. So put some darker area here. And this can sometimes trick our eye. I'll show you. So what happens is our eye thinks that this bit is darker, so it's tucked under a bit, and this bit is darker, so this bit is standing out a bit and looks more like a rounded book. Now, that's just our first step. I haven't finished this bit actually. Probably put a little bit more in, take it across a bit more. We've still got all these other little details to do, which we can do in a similar way, which can help. I think particularly these bits will help us. Okay, but I'm going to leave that for now. I'm going to colour in this bit because I want to sort of think about what colours I'm using. So we're going to colour here. Now our top of our cover will be quite flat because it's not at an angle or anything. So we don't need to colour different colours for different bits. I don't think so anyway. So what I'm trying to do is to fill in these bits and try and work out what these swirly bits actually are supposed to be, and then it will help me choose the colour. I don't know if they're supposed to just be like magic or potions, that sort of thing, or just a pattern. You know, who knows, but I'm just going to colour it in and then have a think. There we go. Now I was thinking I might do this colour all in here as well, but it's a bit dark, but then the word spellbook will stand out, I guess. Yeah, I think I am. I'm going to do this colour all inside as well, so I'm just going to get on with that. Yes, both my boys at uni, and one of them's not home till 6, the other's 7, so I have got peace and quiet really until I need to think about making some tea. I was going to pop out, but I haven't. I did have a walk in the sense that my mum rang me at the time I was going to pop out, so I walked up and down the room while I was on the phone. I know it's not the same as going out for a walk, but because now I wanted to get on and do this because it's exciting, and so I didn't really have time then to sort of go out. So well, I'll have to go out tomorrow because what I needed to buy I'll need tomorrow, but at the moment I'm thinking I'll just stay in and do this. Now I'm looking at all this design. I think what I'm going to do is colour over all these dots, and then I can use some pen or something to put those back in. It's a little bit easier. I can't colour around those black dots, so I will find a different way of doing it. Colouring around the letters is quite tricky enough as it is. I think I might do the words in a really dark colour like black, and then make it a bit easier for me to hide where I've gone over the lines. But this swirly bit I think wouldn't be black. My desk is creaking. Can hear traffic going by. Yeah, it's good. We live quite near a fairly noisy road. It's a big A road, which is one of the busiest types of road you can get in a sort of residential area. There's sort of motorways, but those you know, you don't have houses on the edge of those, and also dual carriageways, and yeah, you can get houses a bit close to dual carriageways, but it's quite busy A road, and because of the fact that there are traffic lights, it means that the traffic stops and goes, so when it comes there's quite a lot of it, you know. There are traffic lights just right out up on the main road, but don't really notice it. I do remember when I looked around this house when we were thinking of buying it, not when we bought it, And I asked the people who lived here if the traffic was noisy, and they said, I'm just going to sharpen my pencil. No, they didn't say that. They said that if you had your windows open at night, you could hear the lorries going by. What they failed to mention was that if you have your windows open at night, you can hear the trains going by, which are quite noisy. I mean, the last train is about 11:15, I think, so it's not silly late, but occasionally in the middle of the night a goods train goes through. They don't seem to run to the same sort of timetable as the passenger trains. I guess they don't have to stick to it in the same sort of way. Right, I'm going to put in the word spell book in black next. Yes, that can be a bit noisy, but we don't have windows and doors open that often. So black. Now I am going to come back to the caput mortuum violet in a minute, but I want to get this bit done first so that it stands out and I can just see where I'm at really. Concentrating. But yeah, I knew it was going to be dry today, but I didn't expect it to be sunny. My son was really annoyed when he went out. It was sunny. He did put his coat in his bag. My other son wore his big coat, but then it was cold when he left. My stomach's rumbling now. And yeah, it was cold when he left, and it'll be cold when he comes back tonight. I'm thinking about all the other details. I think this one and this one I'm going to do in black, just so it sort of matches a bit. I'm going to fade this to the middle. Again, more here. And that's towards the middle. And the same here. Now, I'm still no wiser as to what to do with this. Thinking. It's not working. Brain's not thinking. It's not interested. I think I'm going to do it in a grey like smoke. That's my view. And a lightish, because I want a bit of a contrast between this sort of, it's really quite dark, isn't it? So I'm going to sharpen this. This is the cold grey 3. It's not, it's the warm grey 3. And I'm going to put this on all of these little areas here. It's not particularly dark, but it will show up enough. I'm using the same amount everywhere. Now, really, to keep with this sort of pattern that we've done with the colouring, it should be a bit darker down here, but because it's quite a light colour, I don't think that's going to show up, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to pop it down everywhere. Now the caput mortuum violet for me is not even enough, and I'm wondering whether to put another layer. Oh, don't know what happened to my voice. Another layer down, or put a different colour on top so that it doesn't get too intense and saturated, because it is quite a dark colour. I'm having a little think in my head while I'm just colouring this bit as to what colours are similar enough to it that might work, and I think the answer is none. So I think I'm going to have to go back on top of it with this. I'm just going to sharpen again. Now I'm going to go back to this spine, go over this edge a bit, and then take it towards the middle a little bit more. I am going to go over everything I've done just to try and even it out and tidy it up, but I still want to make sure that I keep that edge darker than the centre. Just trying to make it look a little more even. Yours might be fine. I'm not good at getting it really even, which is why I'm fiddling. Now something you could do, you might want to make it look as if this bit, and maybe even the swirly bits, are embossed on the book. What I'm going to do is just put a bit of a line there and here, just to make it look like it's sticking out a little bit. On this bit, I just want the colour to look reasonably even and to fill all the space. So I'm just going to go back over it all and put more effort, more layers where I think it needs it. And just trying to get rid of the sort of white little bits that I missed. It always, I think, looks worse with a pen when you miss bits than when you miss bits with pencil. I think it's because a pen is much more intense, and so it really shows up the white bits of paper, whereas with a pencil you don't get that intensity quite so much, not without lots and lots of layers. So might make a difference. My son just messaged me and said, I'm really tired. He's just about to start his afternoon class. So, I hope it captures his imagination and he sort of perks up, but it feels unlikely somehow. I did suggest to him he might try and have a drink. Sometimes being thirsty can make you feel a bit tired. Doesn't always remember to have one. So we'll see. He might not have any. I know he's got a bottle with him, but he might not have remembered to fit it out. I was going to suggest he did, but last night, but he was grumpy, so I didn't. Right, there is our spell book. The words are quite faint, the word spell book, so I'm going to do this. I wouldn't normally use pen before I do much more, but I'm going to write over the top of that black with my white pen so that it shows up. Oh my goodness, it's making me nervous. There we go. And we can do all the little dots. I can't quite remember where they all were. I think they were like that. There we go. So now you can see the word spell book, which is good. Now, because that's wet, I'm going to work down here and then come up around there after so I can put my hand over it without it mattering. So we start with a feather. Now we've got a feather actually to do tomorrow, but we can do a feather any colour. Our spell book looks quite muted, so let's do something that looks a bit brighter. So I don't think we should just do a grey feather or a black and white feather or even a brown feather. I think we should do something a bit unusual, bright, and just not realistic at all. So I am going to grab my crimson. Okay, now I think what I'm going to do actually is start with a different colour and come to my crimson in a minute. I'm going to use my cold grey 4 to do the little stem bit here. It's really slim, it's very hard to see. I'm going to continue that up the middle. Just put a little stripe following the line that's there already. It's not hard because the line's drawn there. Just decide if you're going to go right, left or across it. There we go. Now the crimson. And what I'm going to do is start with a line of crimson along the edge. Like that. And a line of crimson along here. And then I want to do one along that grey line, and the same on this side. Now I'm going to gently increase the amount of crimson, like this. So bringing it in from the edge and in from the centre, like that, until we've got a little bit of a slim white line, and I'll put a few bits through it, like that. And the other side is a little bit more tricky because it's not quite as thick, but we've got just a slim line there, so we're just gonna put a few lines through that. And just the idea is to try and make it look a little bit shiny, because feathers are often quite oily and shiny. Now we'll work much harder on a feather technique on this one here, but just a little go. I have some leaves here. I've got a set here, and a set here. And I'm thinking we could do them all the same colour. Let's do something a little bit different than we've done on all of our others. So this is a leaf green, so why not? Let's use our leaf green and do the base of our leaf and fade it up. So I'm not doing a different technique, I'm just using a different colour. Got some crystals to do there, look. That's interesting. Gems, or whatever you might call them. And this one looks the same, this one doesn't, so I'll do that one a little bit of a different colour. We've got a bone again to do as well. I quite liked how I did them last time. It sounds a bit big-headed. I'd never coloured bones before. I was quite pleased. Oh, we've got a leaf here too. Just fade it up. And then this one, now look, you see part of this is inside the jar and part of it is outside the jar, and you see how this has been drawn slightly fainter, so that's how I'm going to colour it. So I'm going to colour this quite lightly and this much more defined, so that we can see the difference between when we're looking through the glass and when we're not. Okay, now I'm going to use the light green for the next part, but I'm going to sharpen it first. Okay, so yeah, as I said, light green, and I'm just going to go over the whole leaf. You'll see that the tip is nice and pale but vibrant. Just making sure I've got a piece of paper under there. I have. So that's good. So I wonder what you're all doing. Colouring along? I guess not all of you will have the book, will you? But it's a nice one to get a few Halloweeny ideas from. Just remember here, lightly, much lighter. There we go. Hopefully if you're not colouring along to this, you're colouring something else. Now, I'm wondering whether to do all of these crystals the same colour or different colours. We could make it. See, I was thinking, oh, we could just go all multicolour, but I'm thinking I really want to stick to a colour scheme that I think is kind of Halloweeny, if that makes sense. So I'm looking at what colours I've got that I think would work for these sort of crystals. Oh, excuse me, I think this mauve is quite a good one. Okay, and I'll show you. What I like to do is to take a surface, let's take this top surface, decide where to start dark there, and then just fade to nothing. Then another surface, got this little one here, will fade downwards this time, like that. And then this side, I'm going to go dark on the bottom and sort of fade upwards. And here to there, like that. And then we're going to do different colour, same colour, different colour, different colour. Middle purple pink. I think that's quite a good one for a crystal. Might be a little bit similar to the feather, but it's got that sort of translucence that I like in a crystal. Don't know if I'm making sense. I make it darker here so it looks a bit more see-through, whereas I think the crimson doesn't really. But some pencils are more see-through than others. I'm going to go from that corner. There we go. Our last one here. Stick. Oh, we could go blue, couldn't we? We have a, yes, I think the helioblue-reddish might be a good one. Okay. Excuse me. I got a little teeny bit there. Now, I don't know what that surface, I guess that's a chip or something. I don't know. My husband got a parcel just before I came on. I'm trying to wonder what it might be. It's probably a book. I'm going to do the darker edge on there. It's just random, by the way. I'm just mixing it up a bit. It was a sort of Amazon thing, I think. I don't think it was the postman. I can't remember now. You know, it's only like half an hour ago. I can't remember. Now this one here, let's go for a... let's use the hooker screen. I'm going to sharpen it. Hooker screen. I'm trying to just fade it from the base to the edge. It's quite tricky, it's quite small. But it's fun at the same time. There we go. Right, I have an idea for this. I'm just looking at my colours. Yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to do a swirl of different colours, like a galaxy sky. And I'm going to start with the bluish turquoise. I'm going to do a few areas of this colour. You'll see what I mean. So I'm just going to go a bit like we did for our potions, but we're going to have a bit more of a contrast between the colours. So spread that out like that and just fade it. And then here, I think this is a brand new pencil. It's lovely. Here and spread it out. I don't want it to look too even, so I'm going to put a little bit here. Okay. And then our other swirl is going to be, I hope this is going to work. Just moving some pencils out of the way. The light phthalo green. I'm hoping it's going to work. I'm just going to sort of blend it in a little bit. It looks like we've got some sort of swirly magic going on. I hope. It doesn't look exactly round to me. I'm sure it probably is an optical illusion because of the book. Now I can see quite a bit of paper through there, but I don't want to go over it all with any of the other, with the colours I was using, because I don't want to change the colour. I like it, so I'm going to just sharpen my white. I'm going to go over it with the white to sort of blend it and fade it a little bit and burnish it all at the same time. Now we've got these little dots on the surface of it, haven't we? I was going to do those in white, but I'm not sure how well that's going to show up because I'm burnishing in white. There we go. I think it might work. I'm just going to give it a go. Here we go. This is quite a big pen, so I think it'll work. I can't do the dots quite as small, but I can follow this sort of swirly pattern. There we go. Now we've got bottles. I'm actually tempted to go around the edge with this too. Just white out that. Now we don't always do this because sometimes the item just vanishes. Sometimes the white line, the black line is quite useful, but I think for this one it's quite nice for it to be gone. There we go. Now our bottles. So there doesn't seem to be, or there is a line around there. There isn't a line showing where our liquid comes to. There isn't that bottle, but not this one. So I'm guessing it's completely full of something. So that makes it a little bit easy for us to colour because we can just colour it in a colour. So I think I'm going to grab the manganese violet and just fill it full of whatever this is. Now I'm just going to put down a fairly even layer. I love that it's got a little tag on it rather than a sort of sticker label. It's got this little tag hanging off it. Right, so now we need to think about which face is going to be darker. I think this one. So I'm going to put another layer of colour on this face. Now this bit is angled, it's going to be slightly different. To have a bit more colour, but not as much. And our neck of our bottle will be more coloured on the edges, like that. And here, now we've got a line, which I think means that our top is slightly dented in. Now I still think this might be slightly darker than this, but this being our lightest side. Now the cord that's holding our label is very thin and we need it to stand out so that we can see that it's there serving us some sort of purpose. So I think rather than doing it in a pretty colour, well, I think I'm just going to do it in an indigo. Well, it's the dark indigo. It might just end up looking like it's black, but I think that will be better than it not showing up at all. So there we go. And the actual label we can do lighter. I'm actually going to do it like this, with my dark indigo, but with a very, very light application, like that, and then it matches the string really well because it's the same colour. Now this bottle to me looks like it's got some liquid going up to that level. I don't know if it does, but that's how it looks. So I'm going to colour in that bit of liquid. Now what colour should we do that? I think we need a bit of pink. Should we go a bit mad and do the fuchsia? Mad pink. So this is a spell from our spell book. What do you think this is that's going in our spell? Right, I have no idea. I'm going to use the cold grey 3 to do the bottle. Now, I want our bottle to look like it's we're just seeing a bit of the glass. So I'm just going to put a bit of colour on in some areas, not in all areas, like that. We'll put some white on it as well later. We're going to do a bit more white pen work at the end because I need to put some down here as well. But we'll just finish these few items. We've got another feather. I think I'll do a blue feather this time. Let's grab this one. The cobalt blue-greenish. I'm going to do it in a similar way to this. Now we've got a bit going down here. I'm actually just going to do this top half and then work out that bottom half after. So as before, just sort of marking out those darker areas, then gently bringing that colour in and leaving a little bit for our sort of shine. Oh, I missed there. Now this one needs to be the same but much lighter. So just be really gentle with your handling of your pencil, like that. This bone is going to be tricky. I'm going to colour it the same as I did our bone in our first picture, so with the ivory to start with. Now here I can sort of put on quite a few layers, but here I just need a tad. I don't know if it's really visible that I put any on. There. And then we've got this little bit, and I used a bit of, did I use brown ochre? I can't even remember. That's what I'm going to use this time. A little bit in there. I think I did a bit on the edges, didn't I? I'm going to put like the tiniest touch here. There we go. And we need to also then colour in this jar. I'm going to try... Sometimes I do glass in a bluish colour, but I think because this is cold grey too, because I did this one in a grey, I think I need to do the same thing. So here on this bit, this is quite thick, you can't see through it, so we can put quite a bit down on that sort of rim, but because we can see through this one, it's lighter. So I'm just putting a little bit on, and I'm sort of fading it towards the middle, a bit like that. Right, now I'm going to grab my white pen again and do some fiddling. So I've got my Gellyroll 10. Now we have our crystals here. Now a good way to make them look a bit more shiny is to white out the black. But most of this are black lines doing some work. I'm going to maybe white that one out. But if we put a few dots and lines and things that can look a bit like reflections, sort of a line like that, or like that, a few dots here and there, it can sort of make it look a little bit more like it's shining. Then this bottle, so we've got a mark here that's been given to us to look like shine, and the same here. Just putting some shine on. I want a bit going down there as well, sort of through the liquid, so it sort of joins it all together. Put a bit on here, a bit on here. Now I realise I haven't done the edge of my spell book, so I'm going to go back to my caput mortuum violet and just fill that in. Sorry about that. I had thought about doing it grey, which is why I left it, but I actually think it would look better in just an intense colour. This will sort of set off that gold really well, I think. There we go. And now we need a glitter pen for our little dots. It's a little bit confusing here because this, which picture is this belonging to? I'll work it out as I go along. So what colour? I think I might do a lightish blue. This is a blue-green, I think, 725. Now these lines that are coming out of our spell book, I'm going to colour those as well. I don't know whether that's the magic or what it is. Over here, so we've got a dot here, we've got a line, so that must be part of this. I think I'm just going to do those three and leave those others to go with our feather. I think there's no stars on this one. I think that works. You could put some glitter on different things if you wish to, like the spellbook cover, but I think it's okay. I'm happy with it being left as it is. I had thought, you know, to get the number 700 and just put it over the word spellbook to make it stand out, or glitter over the crystal ball, but actually I'm fine, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. So there is our spellbook. So that is today's. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and happy colouring.